Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead. Bryant to Shaq.
Not a game. We talking about practice.
LeBron James with no regard for human life. Anything's possible.
Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
Curry for three. Wow! Unbelievable. Making it rain in New York.
We the North are now we the champions.
Not the destination, it's the journey. Mamba out.
G'day guys and welcome to the Ball Boys podcast. I've got Cal here and Jermaine. Welcome boys to the pilot episode, we're going to call this one.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone has to start somewhere, boys.
Yeah, we're starting here. So we've got a few topics we're going to cover today. The first thing we're going to look at, which I'll get you guys' opinion on, is so we're coming back after, how long's it been? Has it been
Too long.
3 months?
It's felt like 3 years, I think. Fuck.
It has felt like ages.
It's been way too long.
I'm
I'm going to say, I think it was April, was it? I think it was April. So
it was
a good
earlier.
3 or 4 months.
late March?
Yeah.
So what are we at now? About 4 months by the
4 months
time
now.
by the time we go back.
Yeah.
4 months off. So obviously a long time since the last game of basketball. Who do we think this break is going to benefit the most, and who do we think it's going to impact the most, and what can we expect? Cal, do you want to give us who
I'll
you
break
think?
down a couple angles here. So I've kind of got a West and an East team.
Yep.
The way I look at it is I'm really only going to look at title contenders. So if I literally think this break is going to, could it in a very certain way potentially change the champion, you know?
Yeah.
This is literally going to put them over the block. It's going to assist them. Maybe there could be some injuries involved. So that's the angle I'm coming from.
Yeah. So obviously, like Washington are probably going to be impacted the most because they've all basically said, "Fuck it, I'm not playing."
Yeah. I mean, look, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They should be kicked out anyway.
That's like an
Just
easy
rule
answer,
them
but we don't care about them.
Yeah.
Wizards. If I was the commissioner right now, I'd get them out. Like after Bradley Beal said he was going, it's just Bertans is going. That team is washed up. That's a waste of time. Got to get them out of here.
Who's even on that team at the moment?
Their best player would be Thomas Bryant, I think.
Right.
Hey, great opportunity for him.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
that's
got
true.
Some good promise.
I actually like Thomas.
The
Bryant,
positive
but-
of the Wizards actually playing is some guys can make some money. Go for it,
young
boys.
fellas especially.
Get that
Yeah.
paycheck. Get that paycheck.
Yeah, they might bring out some G leaguers.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
go on.
But look, I'll break down a couple of things. So, firstly, the team I think probably that's going to benefit the most is the West team. I think they are a title contender.
Yeah.
And that'll be the Houston Rockets.
The Rockets.
And let me break it down for you. I'll tell you what. Now,
That's so funny you said that.
the thing about the Rockets is the past few years, I feel like Harden's been destroying the regular season.
Yeah.
He'll come in and he always seems... I know there's always a bit of a storyline behind it, but it
Yeah.
seems like he just washes up a bit. He gets
he
pretty
slows
drained.
down.
He's always one of the highest minute played.
Yeah,
He'll come in and he's
Yeah.
pretty washed
Yeah.
up. This break just before,
Yeah.
he'll get 8 games, get into his routine, and then bang into the playoffs. I think that'd be really good for him. And same with Russ, man. Russ, he's got a lot of minutes in his body.
That's funny.
And they played together in OKC. I know they're completely different players now, but
Yep.
they're going for a new angle. They're going complete small ball,
Yep.
and to a point where in certain matchups, it could be really hard for other teams.
Yep.
Like, some teams could be an advantage for them. If they met the Clippers, for example, I could see the Clippers beating them.
So-
but if they avoid the Clippers,
Yeah.
they could win. Like
So-
they're a
so
very
right
difficult
now-
team to match up to.
Right now, as it stands, the Houston Rockets are in 6th. So
Yeah, well, they're tied 5th.
if everything stayed the exact
same
same,
record as Thunder.
if everything stayed the exact same as it is now, they'd be versing the Nuggets. So it's funny you say that, Cal, because we were asking this question before, and I was thinking that I thought someone clearly didn't say the Lakers because LeBron and he's a bit older and things like that.
and I
so I was
totally
trying to
understand
think
that
of
point of view.
I was trying to think of someone different, and my first thought process was the Rockets.
Yeah.
That was
It
where
makes
I
sense.
went to. So
They've got the stars.
I agree with you there, and I think I think the James Harden factor is a big one, and not only that, like the Westbrook factor.
Yeah, and we haven't seen much of this small ball anyway. Like they went off the radar just before COVID happened, and I went Covington Center, who's like 6'7". So,
yeah, true.
as I said, like
The
for
negative-
certain people, it could be a matchup nightmare.
The negative to that would be that they are a team that relies on a lot of shooting, and they rely on a lot of jump shots. So with the time off, maybe they might be a bit out of form and a bit off their game.
Have you seen James Harden recently? Actually,
I've seen him. He's been doing some drills. I've seen some videos.
Have you seen him? He's lost a lot of weight.
He's looking skinny.
Yeah,
I feel like
yes.
that's every NBA player. For
I know,
some reason.
everyone's skinny right now.
I mean, you know, we talk about James Harden being the big,
Yeah.
strong, physical guy that he is as a
That's
guard.
true.
He
That's
does
been a
use his body.
massive
He
advantage
does,
for him.
yeah.
So.
Well, if they're versing the Nuggets like it stands now, skinny Harden versus skinny Jokic,
yeah.
you know, maybe that might be a moot point there.
They're just coming out of. Well, him and Westbrook literally they both had,
They were late to
They were both
the
late.
bubble, I think.
So I think no,
They
actually
both
Westbrook is tested positive.
yeah they both
Westbrook is
Yeah.
tested, but
Tested
James is
positive.
going in. James is went a bit late
Yeah,
because he's superstar. He probably has power. Like, oh look, I'm not going to come
yeah,
early.
probably pull some string.
Yeah, but Westbrook tested positive, and he apparently will be back
Good to
for
go.
the start of the season. Yeah,
Yeah,
he will be
okay.
good to go. Is what they're saying.
I wonder if that affects his like training.
Yeah,
leading
so
up
there
to
is
it.
a bit of an asterisk there. You know, we're not.
It's
100%
tough. It's
sure.
tough to know, but I think that was actually the team that I was going to pick was the Houston Rockets, just because I think Harden being fresh, you know, not having to carry those huge minutes the whole season. I think that will play a big role for him.
Yeah.
Hey?
I just think it's an interesting time to drop all that weight. Like we've had a break, but like it's still mid-season.
Yeah,
You know, why not?
I know what you mean. Yeah,
Like it's going to be a massive adjustment to his
like
game.
a change.
Yeah, for himself as well to kind of fit into his body, and play a different game. I guess.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one question mark for me, especially.
His strength is really underrated as a guard.
Yeah.
Like
It
when
is.
he's getting in there, creating all that contact, and then finishing, and then going to the line. You know, maybe he won't have as much strength to do that.
Yeah. So.
So,
But
but
that,
guess-
that'd be interesting. To
did you have a different team, Jermaine?
Yes, I did.
Yes. All right. What's
And,
your team? Who's going to benefit the most?
Bit of a disclosure. I am a Laker fan,
Oh,
and
here we go.
these guys know.
Here we go.
But-
You heard it here first.
But at the same time,
Breaking news.
born a Laker fan. Got family in LA, so let me just say that.
All right,
it's
all
not
right.
just I'm not just a
We're not-
LeBron fan.
We all know that's a lie, but keep going.
But I will say, Lakers to me
Yeah.
is
So you took the low hanging fruit there.
it's an easy choice,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to
It's probably the most logical.
exactly. So
Yeah.
2 points.
Give us the
there
reason why.
is just for me the rest. The rest
the rest,
simply really is
Yeah.
such an important factor for especially a veteran team like that. You got LeBron, obviously just
The captain, the cool head.
centerpiece,
Yeah.
and just as having himself as a leader, is just very important for a team,
Yeah.
especially going through this bubble as well.
Yeah.
You get something new for everyone. Everyone's going to be adapting to it very differently. And I think having LeBron at the center, having gone through everything that he's
What
been
about
through.
the tragedy of Rajon Rondo going down and he's supposed to miss some time, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to miss some time, but I still think even just having not just LeBron, but all those other older heads in the team as well.
Yeah.
Just kind of keeping the younger boys in check. So like for me, that veteran kind of leadership or even on that team is just such a big thing to just kind of tackle down the mental issues I guess that are going to be coming along with this bubble.
Yeah.
So for me, veteran leadership is a big thing. Also, Coach Vogel seems like a pretty good. He's been through a bit himself. I think he's gonna.
Yeah.
I've always
He's gonna
rated Vogel. He
Yeah.
did good
I
with
think
the
he's
Pacers.
alright.
He had a good run there.
He's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it helps just having
I'd say he's a good
Oh,
mediocre. If you're going to rate all coaches, he'd be in your teens, 13 to 18 kind of range. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's alright. He
Nothing.
can, when you have two stars like LeBron and AD,
you
he
can kinda
he can
leave
get
it
you
up
through
to
there
them.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you can leave
put
it
you
up
over
to
the
them,
edge.
So for me, the centerpiece just having LeBron as a leader.
Yeah, minutes played this year.
I think it makes the most.
34.9 minutes a game. So
How
LeBron
many?
needed rest.
Yeah.
34.9.
34.
Tied 14th in the league.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's an old man
and
these
we,
days.
And we always get that little call out from LeBron through his Instagram saying it's playoff.
He switches
Playoff mode.
switches on. Hey.
I've never
He goes
been
on his
believed-
he goes
Yeah.
on his social media shutdown, doesn't he?
He does,
He still
yeah,
does that.
shuts down
So he
social
does all
media.
that stuff. I mean,
He's probably got the mentality for it.
he's got the mentality for it, and for me, that's a big piece of this whole bubble thing. So
It will be a huge. It'll be interesting to see how people respond and different players respond to the bigger break. And
yeah.
I think it's going to take a very focused team. And this is where I think the Lakers is probably a good answer because
Yeah.
I feel as though that they all have their goals are all aligned. They're all at like similar. I mean, with the exception of people like Kuzma and that like people like that, but they all seem to be on the same sort of point in their career. You know, you got your Dwight Howards and your Rondos, LeBrons,
Yeah, people willing
Avery
to
Bradleys,
take,
who are
paycheck cuts.
yeah, that
just to win the championship.
they're all in, and they're sort of it's like now or never kind of thing. They know that it's their window right now, so I think that almost sort of locks them into being able to work together and block out all the other distractions. So for my team, I had the Rockets as well, but another team that I also thought of was the Philadelphia 76ers.
They were next on my list.
Were they?
Next on my list.
Yeah,
They were.
yeah.
They
They were
were
there.
I think the break will do them good because when we last left off at the beginning of the season, we had real high expectations of the 76ers because they brought in.
Well, started the season, people
they brought in
were
Al
for
Horford.
favourites.
Yeah.
Some people were like, "That's my team to win this year."
That's right. There's a lot of people were picking them to win it all. They brought in Al Horford. They've got an incredibly defensive lineup. They're massive across the
big
board.
lineup.
Yeah.
Haven't seen anything like this really ever.
No.
So
And I think I'm hearing rumors that they're shifting Ben Simmons to power forward now.
Oh, really?
I saw that. Yeah, and they're bringing in Shake, my boy Shake, into the starting lineup.
Shake
Milton.
Oh, Shake Milton.
Yeah, dude.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Starting lineup. Wait. So what's the lineup there? Where's Josh Richardson? He's still.
He's
So
still
you got
still
Shake,
too.
Ben, and Josh Richardson,
Yeah.
and then you got Embiid, Center, and who's going to be the last guy?
Yeah, Horford. So if
Horford's coming off the bench. So
Are they
Horford
saying
out,
Horford off the
Shake
bench?
in was like the
That's an
trade-off.
interesting mix.
Is what I heard.
we'll see if they actually
But
stick
we'll,
to it.
we'll see what
I-
happens, man.
yeah.
It's all rumors. That's all
Yeah,
rumors,
but I think because when we left off the end of the season before the break, they obviously hadn't been performing to expectations. So they
I
were.
mean, look, they're 39
there was
and
like
26.
chemistry issues. There was
Underwhelming.
a lot of underwhelming sort of things going on. And I think this has been a bit
Horford's
of
not
like
performing.
I think the pressure's lifted off them since the break. Everyone's sort of had a chance to reset, and I think if they have a chance to like come together and mesh over these next few
They
games,
figure it out.
you know, I think that could definitely benefit them because obviously chemistry has almost been reset with this break. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's going to be in the same boat. Everyone's going to have X amount of time off. So their disadvantage of having poor chemistry before is now like it's like an equal playing field now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I feel like from a raw talent point of view, they're as good as any team in the league. So if chemistry was the thing holding them back, if it's now on a level playing field, that might be something that sort of helps them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, another point I'll bring up is same as the off-season last year, the off-season the year before, and going into this bubble. Ben Simmons is hitting threes, baby. If he's spreading that court, it's over. It's over.
You saw that?
And we had more Ben Simmons 3 videos.
Yeah, you see those training videos?
Oh, dude, those training videos?
His shot is wet. Surely he's going to be.
Oh, dude, yeah, look.
Ben Simmons, the greatest 3-point shooter
He's gonna
in the
step in.
off-season of
That's
all
it.
time.
That's it.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll see. We'll see. How
Maybe,
many?
maybe this bubble could be exactly what he needs. Who knows?
Maybe.
The timing-wise, this would be perfect.
Yeah.
Don't do any at all in the regular season. Steps up just for playoffs, and then wait a second.
Maybe he's
He can
been.
hit a three. What?
I don't know.
I
It's
can
been
guarantee
shocked
you
the world.
right now he's not shooting a three.
What do you reckon?
I'll take it right there.
Hot take right there.
Not shooting a 3
He's
or
not-
not making a 3
He's not shooting a three-pointer in the playoffs.
in the playoffs.
He's too smart for himself.
I think
to
he'll
go.
shoot one.
Okay, we're talking half-court shot.
No. I reckon he'll.
No, he's not. He's
Probably not. No,
too
I'll
smart.
yeah.
He's too smart to resort to that.
All right. Cool. So the next thing we'll move on to is now the East is pretty much in terms of the top 8, pretty much locked and loaded. Like we said before, who was that? Was it in the East? They were the Wizards. They're basically 5 games back. No Beal, no Wall,
No batons.
no Bertans. They've got
That man can shoot.
They're really not going to make the playoffs in the East. So the East is pretty much locked up, but the West is a different story. So they're a bit more.
I'll say, look, in the East, the only thing that will change is the Nets and Magic could just trade spots.
Yeah.
But that's not a very exciting topic.
No.
The Nets, I'm actually kind of excited to see Karis LeVert maybe step up.
Of course, they don't have Irving
I've
or
seen
Durant.
Spencer Dinwiddie come in and out as well. He might not be playing too, so it's just kind of like it's really going to be LeVert's team if Dinwiddie's definitely not playing. So
Yeah. So
that's the
whoever's
only
in
thing to
the,
look out for. But Magic is
so those top 2 seeds in the East really have got a cakewalk.
They do.
Pretty much to the next round.
They do.
Like the Brooklyn Nets, Orlando Magic. They were average teams at best to begin with, and half their best players aren't coming back. So Must be a good day to be a Milwaukee Bucks or a Toronto Raptor fan.
Oh, the Celtics could jump up.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Unlikely, but it could happen.
I think I don't know. There's just not enough games.
Big advantage you got in that 2 seed, so they'll be wanting to jump up.
I would love to see my Celtics jump up there, but the West is where it gets interesting. So we've got a lock really for the top 7. So the difference between number 7 Dallas and number 8 Memphis is 6 games on the loss category, and then the difference between Memphis at 8 and let's say the Spurs at 12 is 3 games. So the Phoenix Suns are still playing, but I don't really see them coming back in. Do you guys agree? There's no. Six games to catch up in 8 games.
Pulled out. They got DeRozan. I don't think it's enough to get him over the edge.
So we're really looking at like 4 or 5 teams that can compete for that last spot. So just going to go around and I've got a few things that I wanted to talk about in terms of the schedule, but just wanted to look at your guys' opinion on who do you think is going to make that 8 spot.
Well, maybe let's go into the schedule first, because we'll make a note that I know that the league did want to try and make it fair, and they got your winning percentage, and they did try to equalise it.
They tried to look at who had the easiest schedule based on record for the rest of the season, and replicate that within the teams that are left, the 22. Yeah.
So since we know we do have some like absolute scrub teams like the Wizards and Magic,
and especially
there's some easy wins there.
There are
for the teams that are lined up with them.
So I'll go over the 4 teams that really have a shot. In my think are the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, Grizzlies, and the Spurs. I'm not a big Kings believer, although they have continued to surprise me. But those 4 teams I think have a legit shot. Depending Spurs obviously on the health of Aldridge and DeRozan.
Aldridge is out.
Is he out?
He's pulled out, yeah.
Okay, well that makes it tough
so
for them.
So it's just DeRozan.
Okay, well I'm still not ruling them out because of Popovich and
Yeah, you still got DeRozan. He can.
So, but anyway, so the teams that they verse on a 500 or better record. So teams plus 500. The Spurs verse 5 teams with a plus 500 record. Grizzlies verse 5 teams as well. Trailblazers verse 6 teams, and the Pelicans verse 2. They verse 2 teams that are plus schedule. 500.
A lot easier. But that being said, put in perspective, Grizzlies are currently 4 games up.
They are.
So they're 4 games up on them. You got Grizzlies 32 wins, Pelicans at 28 wins.
Yeah. So that's the other thing that it throws a spanner in the works, is that not every team has played the same amount of games up until this point. So I'm not sure exactly what the tiebreakers are going to be. I suppose it's still going to be percentage.
It'd have to be percentage.
It would have to be percentage, but it is a bit tough for those teams that have played less games, like the Spurs, who I think have played a bit less to make up the ground.
Sometimes they do percentage, but also, if teams have versed each other in the regular season, and it's
the 4 against,
the 4 against between that. So it'll still be.
So with that little nugget of info, who do we think is going to make it? Cal, I'll start with you again first.
Well, me personally, I've just taken the safe bet. I think it's the Grizzlies.
You think the Grizzlies
They're a good team. They're a good young team. I think they got a really bright future. You got Ja's playing like. Sometimes he looks like a vet out there.
Ja's crazy, hey.
He sees the floor. So it looks like it's slow for him, but he's so quick.
Yeah, I love Ja.
He's a really good player. I put my money on him. If someone would say put a bet right now, I put on the Grizzlies. I think it's a safe bet. I mean, I love me some New Orleans. Let's face it. I love me. Ideally, I want to see Zion and LeBron in the first round. That's what everyone wants to see.
That'd be amazing.
But I think the Grizzlies have that slight edge in them. I think that they're a deep team too. They got a few guys that really. Josh Jackson, they've taken from the G League. He was performing just before the season ended.
Is he still playing?
Valanciunas is balling. He's been playing real well.
Come off the bench.
You got that rookie Clark. He's
Brandon Clark, my guy. I love
looking real good. He's good energy off the bench.
He's a hustler.
The shooting guard, it's a pretty stacked lineup. I think they're deep. They could cause some matchup problems. They're fussy defensively. You got Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
Who you can play him at
Triple
center,
J.
a bit of a switch here and there. I think they'll. Yeah. They had some chemistry moving into it. I think they'll secure that.
Do you think that youth will,
I think they got a bright future
under the pressure of the bubble?
I
be affected.
I think some of the younger teams. We talked about the veteran leadership before. I think that some of the younger teams have a good advantage because I think we were discussing before off air that whether or not families could come into the mix of it. And if young players are sort of coming in without the baggage of having to leave any family behind or not having to
That's an advantage.
worry about, I think that's a legitimate mental advantage. You know, they might have a bit more camaraderie.
sure.
Everyone's similar sort of age. They might be able to build chemistry a little bit quicker. And if they've already got the lead, you know, that could come into play.
Because they really are like a really young team.
Really young, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Surely Valanciunas has got to be the oldest guy.
Yeah, he is
I
really
think so.
the
I
veteran
think
for
maybe.
them.
The oldest guy who's got significant minutes at least.
Yeah.
So to be honest, at the beginning of the year, if you had said that, I would have fallen off my chair backwards. I picked the Grizzlies as, I think I was filling out my 1 to 15 in the West, and I'm pretty sure I put the Grizzlies as 15th last. So the fact that they're here, and like I can legitimately agree with you that they're probably the odds-on favourite to make it, is that's pretty crazy.
It makes the most sense. They've had a good year, and it's a bright future for them. They got heaps of young players.
Rookie of the year, Ja.
Oh, lock it in.
Yeah,
Zion played enough.
It should be. It should be.
No,
a
yeah.
lock.
I don't think you
The
can
thing
go
is,
against
I
it.
know if the Pellies really do pull this off and Zion goes off,
Okay.
there's a bit of a chance.
There is
But
a chance.
I think it's
Do you reckon
pretty slight.
yeah, because it's media vote, isn't it? The Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I think it's combined.
Is it a player vote? No.
Nah.
I'm pretty sure it's
It's
media.
just media.
I think it is media. And if
Zion pulls up an 8-win streak.
8 win
he's-
streak, it would
and
take something. It would
He's
take
putting
something
up 25 and
miraculous.
14 with like 2 and 2. And sure, man, give that man the rookie of the year.
Yeah. It would take something miraculous.
But at this
So,
point, you got a rookie point guard leading a young team into the 8th seed.
Yeah.
okay.
Exciting, yeah.
What do you think, Jermaine? Do you have a different team or?
Man, I was actually quite surprised from your selection, Memphis. I mean, just knowing that you're a big player of the team that I'm about to say.
Please.
I'm going to say the Portland Trailblazers.
Ah, there it is.
Dame time, baby.
Dame
Yeah,
time.
we see it every playoffs.
Oh, love
Mate.
playoff Dame. I love it.
You know, there's a lot at stake. I know they're behind. You know,
What are they? What are they
they've got-
behind? 3 games or? Let me just double check that.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that
Three
we do
games
have,
behind on the
3 games
win,
behind
4 on the
Memphis.
loss.
Yeah.
So
So they've got some work to do.
they're pretty much tied percentage-wise with the Pelicans.
Yeah.
So
But
similar starting point.
man, every year Dame just gets better and better.
Dame.
And it's scary, man.
I will admit, I used to be a bit of a Dame hater,
Yeah.
and he has won me around. Like
Yeah.
he is so good and so fun to watch.
Yeah. He's on that. He's at the skill level. He's on that. Like, he's close to Steph Curry on the offensive skill level.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
shooting the range just keeps on extending.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
got a good handle. He can get to the bucket too.
He gets to the bucket.
He gets to the free throw line. He gets to about 7-8 free throws a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I literally just
You're just
ride
banking
that
on Dame.
train, and
You're just
I
banking
can-
on Dame.
CJ's
believe
a
in
vet.
him,
He'll drop 20 a night.
Yeah.
Great
He's
play.
always
Stretch the floor.
Another
He's-
thing to think about: a bit more time for Nurkic to heal up.
Yeah.
He came.
I'm not sure if he's you know any news on that or
I haven't
he's playing?
heard, but
I think it's a bit 50-50. There's been talk about it.
Yeah.
But I believe he'd probably be coming for
he was
bench. It'll
supposed to
a
be
bench role.
coming back.
It
Sort
was
of
well. It was
early
meant to
in
be
the
that
year.
guy. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But
Early in
he
the
had
year,
setbacks.
and then he had some setbacks, so he could potentially be returning, and so the combo of him and Whiteside could be one to look out for.
Yeah.
So they've got some good depth there.
And let's not forget Skinny Mello. Everyone's skinny.
Skinny
Mello
Mello.
apparently he's a lockdown defender. So
He is. I've
Wow,
seen some videos.
I've seen videos.
I've seen one highlight of him.
I saw a
Like,
5-second video of him
Yeah.
locking someone down.
Yeah,
So
I think it was like the third string small forward. He was going.
he's getting locked down.
Yeah.
Far out.
But I
Skinny Mello.
mean, I like the
I like the
roster as well.
storyline.
You
It's
got-
good. It's good.
you got-
I'd be happy for Mello to get in that 8 seed. It's
Exactly.
good. You got Dame there. It's
You got like Zach Collins, a good energy player. I was just saying. You got Dan. What do you call it? Mello, CJ McCollum,
CJ.
and Anthony Simmons as well.
I like him.
players.
He's a good young
Yeah.
backup point guard.
Yeah.
Dynamic scorer. And
But man, when it comes to playoffs, when it comes to like tight games, which all these 8 games were going to be, if the ball's in Damian Lillard's hand, he's gonna be playing. 40
And
minutes
every game's going to have that extra bit of importance to it. Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like if there's only 8 games and you're starting from 3 games back,
Yeah,
it's going to be like high pressure and you'd want the ball in someone like Damian Lillard's hands. Do you know what I mean?
he's
Like
gonna be
it's-
playing close to 45 minutes a game.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna pump
You'd
his
have to.
And he's the kind of guy that wouldn't just lay over and just go, all right, I'm just going to cruise out. I'm
Yeah.
here because I have to be. He's the kind of guy that would want to get in there.
He'll put his body in the line,
Yeah,
do
100%.
everything in his power to get that team to exceed if that's what they get to. But I mean, yeah, I believe in Dame. He's proven it every single year he's always stepped up and firm believer.
And then that would talk about matchups again, like Portland Trailblazers versus the Lakers in round 1. That would be a good matchup, and I would put a bit of money on like Trailblazers taking at least a game from the Lakers.
Yeah, I think they could still 1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't put it past them at all because just the big play nature of Dame Lillard and CJ, and he's got a good supporting cast around him. They've got some bigs that could match up on Anthony Davis as well and sort of hold him down a little bit.
And Lakers don't really have a point guard or a guard to guard Dame Lillard anyway.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, guard him with Rondo? Like
Exactly. Yeah.
Dame's going for 40 every night.
I believe Avery Bradley is out.
Rondo just got reported an injury too.
Yeah,
he was going to step up,
so,
and he just got out. So
I think Caruso...
Caruso is going to be a real thing.
The bald mamba.
That's it.
The bald mamba stepping up. All right, well...
I'll add one more point to that. Add it to the list. 1st of August, the first Trailblazers match is against the Grizzlies. So that'll be a big one.
That will actually
that will
set
be
the tone. So if they can get up on that game...
Yeah. And we know Dame's coming out for it. So if they get that win in that first match against the Grizzlies...
That's true.
That could be a big factor for them.
Yeah, that's actually going to have major implications.
Definitely.
Like that, just bang, straight off the bat.
Like one game.
One game.
That's
and who are you going to pick on that game? Like, if you're going to pick a team, like right now, who's going to win that game? It's the Portland Trailblazers.
It would be.
Like, they had to be coming as the favourites. Like,
and you got Ja versus Dame as well.
Yeah,
so you got a point guard matchup, and you got to give it to the vet Dame at this point in his career.
So... That's a pretty big one. One loss for the Memphis Grizzlies and one for the Trailblazers. That could make an interesting race. It's funny you guys said those two teams because we didn't plan this at all. But I've actually picked the Pelicans as my team. I picked the Pelicans. I think they're going to make it based on that schedule that I read out.
Let's run through the schedule.
Look, it's spicy.
They're versing the
tasty.
Jazz, which should be tough.
Tough game.
Clippers, that's
tough
tough.
game.
But then after that, it is cruisy.
It opens up. Look at this
schedule. What are we
schedule.
calling cruisy?
Well, they're versus the Grizzlies, so that's a big one. Okay, so that's
winnable.
That's winnable, and you got to assume they're pretty healthy. So that's a big matchup. The Kings, the Wizards, just chalk that up one as a W.
Be a win. That's a W right there.
That's a W right there. The Pelicans versus the Spurs, and then they versus the Kings again, and then the Magic. So that's
very easy.
Really
that's a pretty easy schedule running in. So let's say what if they beat one of the Jazz and the Clippers, and then they've got 5 very winnable.
Well,
games.
they need to beat that game against the Grizzlies.
That Grizzly game is very important.
That really to them is must win. That's like a.
That's really
they
don't verse the Trailblazers, which is interesting. Which we said was the other team that we think might make it in there. So they don't get a chance to knock them down. 2 matchups against the Kings is interesting there. But if you just look at the talent on the Pelicans squad,
they're a deep team too.
They're a deep team. Like Drew Holiday is probably one of the more underrated players in the league.
Yeah, you got JJ off the bench.
Really
like
is,
JJ's still hitting threes.
JJ,
you need to guard that man.
And JJ at the start of the season told Zion if he's been in there, how many years has he been there? That streak.
He's since his rookie year. He's
never
not made
in
the playoffs.
Oh man, so you know.
He's coming out fired up. He's gonna hit some threes.
If Zion ruins that streak, man. So I like the Pelicans, and maybe it's just I'm voting with my heart here, but Zion in the playoffs. We all want to see it. We all want to see it, and I'm sure the NBA wants to see it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think going back to our first topic as well. I mean, Zion came off that injury. He wasn't really looking. He was still putting up 20 and 10, but he still wasn't looking 100%.
Well, he's got that.
If anything, this would help him. That's just saying he's a youngster. He doesn't have a family to worry about, and he should come back 100% healthy.
Dude, he's looking. Man, he's looking thicker again.
Thicker?
I've seen some videos.
I've seen some videos, but he's still getting up, man.
He's still getting up.
Sure. He's a beast.
Well, he is a
and
freak.
if you lock him in, you lock it in. Okay, Zion, we don't have to play an 82-game season. Yeah. We've got 8 games. Mm-hmm. Like, let's just go. Let's give it everything. Like, unleash Zion for 8 games.
Yeah.
Like, surely.
See how far we can go.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I can't wait for it. I honestly can't wait to see Zion play. He's just...
And let's not forget about Brandon Ingram. The season.
Oh, Brandon Ingram, the most improved player of the year this year, I reckon.
Yeah.
We'll probably cover that. We'll cover that another time.
Anyone
the
who
awards, but
picked Ingram up on your fantasy team, congratulations.
That
was a steal.
It was a good pick. It was a really good pick. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about today, just our sleeper teams now in terms of who is going to win it all. So this isn't just to make the playoffs, but who do we actually think is going to win the championship? So we obviously know I'll take these three teams off the table: the Bucks, the Lakers, and the Clippers. I think you've got to assume that they're the three favorites.
They're the favorites, absolutely.
Anyone else, you would be somewhat surprised to see them to win them all. So I'm going to take those three teams off the table. Outside of those three teams, who do we like to win it all out of that?
Well, I'll step in with my team.
I have a funny feeling I know who you're going to pick.
I've kind of got a couple, but I'll step into. I think. Like every year, the West is always loaded.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out of that West, man.
So you're going East?
I mean, you got Lakers, and you have to be either the Lakers or the Clips, or you have to go through both, like depending on how the seeding works. So you
may escape them, but more than likely
job.
you're going to have to topple both. Yeah.
I'm thinking, but I have to go an East team on this, and when I pick this team, I'm thinking who's the most likely to defeat Milwaukee. Who would have that advantage against them?
I know exactly who you're going.
We all know.
Honestly, I'm going to pick it.
Well, I'll say two teams because I think both of them definitely have a chance, and those two teams are the Heat.
Yeah, that was the guy. That was the team I was thinking.
And Philly 76ers.
Yeah.
And the reason I say is they're both big, and they can both throw so many bodies at Giannis.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the one team I'd pick over those two, I think I'd back the Heat. I think the Heat. When if they do match up against each other, which I would look very much to, that playoff series, you got a vet in Jimmy Buckets. He's clutch. He's proven that year after year.
Yeah.
I love me some Jimmy Buckets.
I know you love your Jimmy. I know you love him.
And I can totally see Spoelstra's one of the best coaches in this league. He's easily top 3 in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I can see him putting Bam on Giannis for entire games.
Yeah.
And that being a problem for Giannis.
I think of all the teams in the East, the Heat have the best matchup against Milwaukee, and I love the idea of throwing Bam on Giannis, like a mobile, big body, athletic as all hell.
Yeah.
They've got the size to then also say they have a Giannis and Lopez on the court at the same time. They've got the size to put a Kelly Olynyk on there and cross guard each way. So
you got shooters to stretch the court as well.
You got shooters on those young kids that have come in that surprise us all.
Yep, Kendrick Nunn, and then I still think
Tyler
Jimmy's
Hero,
got some just to get those clutch buckets as well. It's a deep team.
It's a really good team. And the coach as well. You've got your Eric Spoelstra, still underrated coach. Probably didn't get all the credit he deserves from the Heatles back when LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh were playing, but Spoelstra's underrated coach. I think he's going to have those guys up and running. And I haven't really heard much out of the Heat, really.
Not really. It's been very quiet.
They've been pretty. That tells me that they're kind of like locked in.
Focused.
The one argument against them it has been their away record. So I will bring that up. Their away record it's been terrible. They've had a really good home record, which is great. They're 27-5 from home, which is if not the best, but top 3 best records.
If we think about
we can all think about it. People having big nights in Miami, I'm sure.
Well,
they're partying and having a good time.
Can I spin that into a positive? Where has the NBA been playing? It's been playing in Florida. It's down in Orlando. They're pretty much at home.
I mean,
so everyone's going to be in the same venue.
No one's watching the games, but it shouldn't be. Yeah, I mean,
do you know what I mean? Like that
is a mental factor to be.
If it's a mental factor, they're probably coming from. I know they're in Disneyland, obviously, but it's their home state. Yeah. Like they've got a little bit. They got a little bit of an advantage. I would have thought. Mm-hmm. So. I like that pick, Cal. That's the team I thought you were going to pick. Yeah. So.
And also, I'll just mention again, just because I love me some Jimmy Buckets. Him and Kawhi going at it last year. That was, in my opinion, best series of last season. Mm. And you had Kawhi going, I think, about 30, 31 a game. And Jimmy was matching up with about 27, 28 a game.
Yeah.
And it came down to the last shot buzzer beater in Game 7.
I like it.
So.
I like it. All right. Yeah. Jermaine, who's your team?
I mean, for me, I was going to pick Heat as well. Like, who doesn't like some Heat?
The Miami Heat, getting some
love.
love.
I'm a Jimmy Buckets fan as well.
Yeah.
Big fan of his personality. Calls people out. He calls it out as it is. If you're being slack, pick up the work.
If anyone hasn't seen him calling out TJ Warren after their beef on the court, look it up. That's a classic.
TJ Warren.
He can't guard me.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. That was great. That was great.
No, he's always throwing chat like that, which I love just watching. But yeah, other than that, I mean, Heat was my choice, but if As just like West is so hard to pick.
It's hard.
So
It's
you
hard
just
to pick
can't-
someone out of
You
there.
just can't think who's going to get through the
Yeah.
Lakers or the Clippers. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just when the game slows down,
Exactly.
it's hard. It's hard to see anyone going through them.
Bringing to my first point about, look, I think the Rockets could be that advantage from the bubble.
Potentially,
Have a
yep,
chance.
yep.
yeah, they have.
But
they
it's-
have
I could see that.
firepower to do
It's
They've
it's
been
hard to
they've been
imagine.
close the last few years.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the year that they get
It's a
through.
slight chance, but it's just Lakers and Clippers, they're so stacked.
Yeah.
But I had chosen the Boston Celtics.
Yes. Oh, I was hoping someone would bring
See,
that up.
I'm a Laker fan choosing the Boston Celtics.
What is
There we
going
go.
on?
I am
Interesting.
speaking rationally.
Wow,
Well, break it down for us.
I thought I'd have to jump in for my boys.
Over the
All right,
last,
talk up the Boston Celtics, Jermaine.
you're gonna love
Go,
this.
go.
Over the last year, or even specifically previous to this season, never been a Jason Tatum fan.
Oh, but
Nor have I.
But man,
Yeah.
he's
He
really
looked
really
real
impressed
good.
me.
The last
He's-
month just before the break,
man,
Yeah.
he was looking like a top 5
he
player
looked
in
like a
this league.
superstar.
So,
Well, okay, top 5 player. Let's
Yeah.
settle down.
Settle
But
down.
and I'm talking more on the fifth the fifth side of the spectrum there.
That's a hot take. Callum was talking about there.
Within that month, he
even
was,
as a
he was
Celtics
up there.
fan, I don't think he can be called a top 5 player.
But he's looking like a
but he's a
superstar.
go-to scorer now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's a player that you can confidently give it to him in the last 2 minutes of the game and say,
Create something.
Make a play.
make us a play, get us to the win. You know.
Yeah. And yeah, so I believe in Jason Tatum now. He's even though he's young, he's had the playoff experience against
Yep.
against LeBron.
I think that was huge experience. Like, and I love how he goes at it. Like, it
Doesn't
sticks
back
out into my brain that moment where he dunked on LeBron. Well, I think it was game 7 last year
Yeah, I
against
think so.
Cleveland.
Everything
Dunked
on
on LeBron, like came up to him, chest bumped him, like
Yeah.
in his
Yeah,
face.
he was
like,
feeling it.
wasn't backing down. I love
Yeah.
that, and I think that's a big sign from a young player.
Yeah, big growth. And Jaylen Brown as well. He stepped up as well.
He's been good.
He's been good, solid. Like
Good
and,
3-and-D player.
The leadership from Kemba.
Yeah, Kemba as well. Gordon Hayward's come out and slowly throughout the season, a little slow, but it's
Yeah.
been steady though.
And
He's
arguably,
slowly
this
coming
break
back up.
definitely could be positive for him. Because when
It could level the playing field.
remember at
you
the
know?
start of the season, he was looking really good and he dropped off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he does the same again
Yeah.
and comes out shooting,
He's a bit of a wild card. I
He is.
think a lot of the Celtics season rests on Gordon Hayward and which Gordon Hayward we're going to get.
Yeah.
If he can return to form, well, then you've got 4 guys in the team that can average 20 points.
Yeah.
And that's 4 weapons to choose from, because we know in the playoffs, if you were to lock down on a single player, it's much easier to guard. Whereas the Celtics have got options, they've got choices
Yeah.
that they can spread the ball to.
And
And
also
you
on
can't
the-
leave any of them. They can all
Exactly.
shoot. They're all threats from the outside.
and also on the defensive end, they can guard a lot of
They're-
people.
they're switchable.
Between those 3
Yeah.
players, specifically Tatum and Brown,
Yeah.
you got a lot
Yeah.
of flexibility
Yeah,
there.
like Tatum plays. He can play power forward sometimes.
He can play power. He can play
Yeah.
a small 4. Yeah.
Exactly.
He can guard some bigger guys. Jalen's quite strong, so he can guard the Jimmy Butlers and the the LeBron sort of types.
Yeah, sure.
My biggest concern for the Celtics is the lack of size
Yeah.
and the center spot, especially when it comes to the East and the matchups.
Yeah.
You've got
Who are you
teams like
putting on Joel Embiid?
who are we putting on Embiid,
Yeah.
who are we putting on Giannis, who are we putting on Bam?
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
big guys that are in the East specifically, and even if say you were to meet a Lakers in the finals, like who's guarding Anthony Davis?
Because I'll tell you now,
It's-
their centers.
It's
Not
down
only
to Tice.
impressive.
is their
I'll come out and say
starting
it.
center.
They're pretty trash.
Yeah.
I love my boy Daniel
Tice.
Tice. He plays bigger
He's a
than
good
his
role
size.
player.
Yeah.
He plays bigger than his size. He's
Yeah,
6'9", but he
exactly.
plays bigger, and he's a threat from outside.
Yeah.
But
And he can
it's
get
on the
some
def-
blocks too. He's
Yeah.
he's defends the
He
rim.
puts his body on the line.
He does.
And he's not afraid to.
I
He's a
was
good
I
role
was a
player.
bit disappointed in the offseason when the Celtics signed Enes Kanter and didn't
He
go
has
out.
dropped off a mountain.
They
this year.
didn't go out and get someone who can play a bit more defensive, sort of
Yeah.
just rim runner role.
Yeah.
Someone a bit more athletic, which I think we needed to defend some of those big guys in the East.
Yeah.
So I think I think those other 4, the perimeter players, need to be.
They gotta be on.
They're got to be on. They got to be on the top of their game. And if they're
Yeah.
not, it's
gotta get
tough.
punished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think, but in saying that, Brad Stevens' defensive coaching style, there is some hope to think that they'll be able to figure something out to guard those other
And
guys.
they've obviously figured it out through the season because they're 3rd seed.
Yeah, well, they're doing all right.
43-21. Not bad for a
That-
team that's
that-
gone through a lot of change.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And they're still young. Like the core of their team is young. It's just the matchups that concern me.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
And that's what playoffs is about. It's
That's
about
right.
matchups. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
As you're
All right.
saying, Mitch, Brad Stevens is a great coach. And I think one thing we haven't touched on is Marcus Smart. No one's mentioned Marcus Smart.
Oh, yeah.
He's made for the playoffs. That man is made. He's
Yes.
I've seen that man guard centers as well.
yeah, he is a big. Yeah, he seems like a little bulldog. He can guard centers.
And his 3-point shot has improved dramatically this
It
season.
has. It has.
I think at one point he was leading the league in 3-point.
Didn't he have a game? I think it was 10 threes in a game.
I think that was the season.
That was Marcus Smart.
Yeah, that was the season.
Fact check that, but I'm not sure if it was 10. But
We'll fact check it right now.
While you're fact checking that, I'm going to give my sleeper. Mine was the Miami Heat from the East, but I'm gonna go a second one, and my guys from the West, which I'm going to choose from, and this might be a bit more with my heart because I love this team, the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, that's definitely with your heart.
It's
We're just saying it right there.
For the Dallas Mavericks, I love the Dallas
Are you
Mavericks.
talking about to win the entire
to win the
NBA
comp?
championship?
To win the comp.
Okay. Yep.
There's a scenario. Hear me out here. There's a scenario in my head that Doncic comes back and pulls second year Magic Johnson, like just never skips a beat, comes back and lights the world on fire.
Yeah.
Like and the combo of him and Porzingis. If you think about like a 1-2 punch, Doncic, Porzingis, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. I know instantly you go, okay, Anthony Davis and LeBron are better, but when it comes to certain scenarios, I think there's an argument to be made that they are one of the best two-player combos in the comp.
In terms of talent-wise.
In terms of talent, yeah. Probably
absolutely.
unproven to this time at the moment, but I wouldn't want to verse them in a 7-game series. If Doncic and Porzingis are on for 4 games, that's all it takes to move on.
Yeah.
I think they can upset anyone. Now it's a bit of a long shot because the rest of their team is a bit more suspect. You've got your Seth Currys and your Dwight Powells and all those who are
solid role players.
But
don't
question
quite
marks when it comes to the playoffs
Yeah.
and when the scoring slows down, can they get their own bucket? To be answered. But I think when you've got 2 genuine superstars who complement each other, they both work well together. Like it's not like 2 players that cancel each other out that both need the ball in their hands. Doncic with the ball in his hands, creating plays for other players, and Porzingis spotting up, playing defense on the other end.
Yeah.
I think there's a legitimate, it's an outside shot, but there is a world in which I can see them upsetting a few of those, Clippers and Lakers and actually putting up a really good fight.
Just not this world. But
I think I think the Clippers are a hard matchup for him. But
Yeah, I think they would probably need to get out of that 7th seed and move
they
up.
would.
Yeah.
If to give themselves a better chance and maybe start with a Denver or a Utah or something like that.
I think that's a fair play. Doncic and the Mavericks. He's been leading the Mavericks to one of the best offensive seasons this league's ever seen.
Yeah.
They're leading in offense right now. They're the best team on offense.
They're the best team on offense.
And they're led by a second year absolute stud in
second year player. Think about that. He's a second year player,
Yeah.
and he would be up there in the MVP voting.
He should be.
Yeah.
He definitely should be.
He's,
If it wasn't for them being in the
Surely top
7th
five.
he's a
seed.
special kind of player, and
Yes.
it's just those special kind of players that I think are the X factor that you can't just blatantly say, all right, the Mavericks are not going to upset the Clippers. There's no chance because there's a chance. So that's my dark horse, you could say. Dark horse.
Yeah, fair enough.
There is a world I can see it. If injuries maybe get in their favour, they could surprise some people for sure.
Yeah.
Kristaps this year, I will say he hasn't been looking as healthy as he had previously. He's still a bit, just doesn't have that quick step he quite used to.
Yeah.
And I think
It's
it's
a
only
big
going to get
injury.
better still. Like he's still coming off a pretty bad injury.
Yeah.
And maybe this break could help him out.
Yeah, like I said,
It
it's
could be a positive
another
for him.
bit of a break for him.
Exactly.
Alrighty, guys, we might call it there. That's
Before we do jump off, Mitch, guys, the one stat check. Marcus
yes.
Smart,
Marcus
career
Smart.
high, 37 points earlier this season on January the 1st.
Yep.
11 from 22 from 3.
50%, 11
Jeez.
threes.
There you
That's
go.
my guy.
There you go.
All right.
That's what I say.
So we undersold it.
Marcus Smart shot 22 3-pointers.
He did. 11 from 22.
Please tell me we won that game. Did we win that game? Far out.
I'll have to fact check.
Yeah, okay. Next episode, stick around. For those of you who listened to the first episode, thank you very much. The pilot episode of the Ball Boys podcast.
Oh, you're witnessing history right
This
now.
is history right now. And we'll be back soon.